Hello, and thank you for coming to Deb Chanel's 48's World, where you get all your reality review shows, soap operas, and informative information throughout the community, dealing with social issues and or political issues. But today we're going to be talking about the bold and the beautiful. This episode was taped on March 25th at 1:30 p.m. So basically, what was given to me on the station, the topics they're going to be covering in today's episode, which is Friday, March 25th. Ridge finds himself on the defense when an unexpected accusation is thrown his way. And of course, we already know the big elephant in the room is basically Ridge's not being the father of baby Douglas. In actuality, his son, Thomas Forrester, is the father. Then on the second half, or in between, they go both, what do you call it, in and out of each scene. We're going to be discussing Charlie. He's the security guard, and actual is Pam's fiance. Accidentally stumbles upon a startling clue about what may have happened to Liam, and basically how he stumbled upon this particular incident is because Rick is Brooks Logan's son, Eric Forrester's son, when they were married, and they had him. He'd asked Charlie to look at each tape because he's assuming that Ridge had probably hit his car. We don't know that. This is the storyline they're giving us, but we're going to go with it. Okay. Basically, it starts back at the Forrester's house. Caroline and Thomas. Caroline is going around the bedroom area, doting on her little baby boy, Douglas. And, she's talking with them, doing the motherly thing, the nurturing, and just, seeing this little perfect gift that she brought into the world. So, we all know Thomas is actually living at the house as well. He goes in and out, comes and goes as he pleases. But recently, he's been sticking primarily at the house for some reason. He goes to work. He may socialize a little bit, but he's not doing any dating or anything. So he's primarily at the house since the baby has come home from the hospital. And he's pretty much have already really been around Caroline since the time that they had consensual sex. And he found out she was pregnant. Of course, in the back of his mind, he was thinking it was his. But after all the assumption and, Caroline saying no, it was Ridge's and this, that, and the other, which was, false accusation. But for some reason, she thought she wanted to keep Ridge in her life. And since he had forgiven her about having the little rendezvous twist, or twist, or something like that. Like, I'm not pronouncing it right, but you all know where I'm going with it. One night stand with her, with his son, which would have been her stepson. Kind of weird, I know. Let's not go there. But anyway, so he's pretty much been around her for a very long time. Interactions here and there, but like I said, he really wanted to be in Caroline's life as a lover, possibly husband, and he wanted that baby to be his, which in actuality he probably can have that with all the dynamics that are going on as we speak, that has transpired since that one day he slept with, or that one night he slept with at that hotel. So basically, Ridge is trying to, well, not Ridge, but Rick is trying to get some evidence on something that he can pull Ridge out of the company itself, and predominantly try to get him out of LA if possible. because he's had, Rick really just feels he's just created so much havoc and destruction in their lives that he just don't want him there. He don't need why he doesn't really know why he needs to be there, because he's a designer. He's gotten his skills back, so he can pretty much design anywhere around the world. He don't need to be a part of the company because technically he is not the heir to the throne. Ricky is. So anyway, he just asked Charlie to just continue to look at so many tapes that will probably put Ridge at the scene of hitting his car, or even possibly doing some illegal stuff on the property of the company. So who knows? And we already know what Charlie done found out, which is the piece de resistance. But anyway, going back to the setting where Thomas comes into Caroline and Ridge's bedroom. He sees her walking around with the baby, and again, he feels really attached to him, and just a longing to be around both of them. So he goes in, sits on the bed with her, and just be talking to the both of them. Kind of puts you in the mind of, wow, he would be a good father if he ever knows that that is his son. And even if it wasn't his son, you would know he would be a great father, just from his attitude and his love for family. Have a little bit of his father's ways with just going from woman to woman, but he can admit to his flaws a little bit better than his father can. Excuse me. So much pollen. I know it's pollen in this house. Ooh, can't take it. But we're in Atlanta, Georgia. We have a lot of trees, so we suffer up here down south. The scene goes to Wyatt next. Wyatt and Steffi. And Steffi is going over some business issues concerning the jewelry clothing line. What jewelry wear for the apparel of the clothes that are being sponsored and shown on the models when they do fashion shows or photographs of the model. They customize their jewelry to fit each apparel that the foresters create. So they're kind of seeming like they're having a backlog on merchandise that Quinn has supposedly been delivered to them, and she's not answering cell phones, she's not answering emails, and she's not coming into the office on a regular basis. So Steffi is trying to get Wyatt's opinion or some type of understanding of what's going on with his mother, why she's not returning calls and showing up in the office, because they have deadlines that need to be met. They have jewelry that needs to go with apparel. She needs to approve some of the jewelry, to make sure it's perfect for the designs that they're using, in their catalogs or their fashion houses. And decisions need to be made, and she's not being proactive about returning calls, coming into the office, none of that, and she's just going scatterbrained. So scatterbrained, and it's just taking its toll on her. So she's venting to him, and of course he's like, well, I'll help out with it. I'm not solely over there to my dad right now, but whatever she's lacking, meaning his mom, he's going to try to pick up some of the slack, and he's just keep enforcing, reinforcing to her that everything's going to be okay. Don't get so blown out the water. Calm down, this and the other. So Steffi gets a phone call from, I don't know if it's a buyer or some other person she's dealing with in-house about some issues. But she tells Wyatt she has to go take care of some business. And she leaves or exits out of her office. And then the scene goes to Quinn and Liam. Quinn is talking about moving again with Liam. Liam's not really understanding where this newfound resurgence to get up and move, across the country, out of state, whatever. He just not really understanding that. And he's like, well, like, what are you talking about? Where you want to go? She's like, well, I want to move out of Los Angeles. I don't want to stay here anymore. And she's trying to make a very good argument to convince Liam that it'll be better for both of them to get a fresh new start, Don't have to worry about anything of the past. They just start from this present day and just go on into the future. And of course, Liam's looking like a deer in headlights. He don't know what to do, what to say to appease her. He's just like, dumbfounded. So then we leave that scene and we go to Charlie. Charlie is going over the videotape footage and he's basically seeing Liam having a disturbing argument with Quinn, and then he suddenly passes out. And it's kind of disturbing because he's like, okay, well, I need to talk with someone about this. Now, for me, I'm thinking he's going to go to Pam because that's where he usually runs to when it has something to do with the Foresters or anything that's concerning them that it might affect them in any negative way. He runs to her, and then he tries to run to um, I'm sorry, whoever he deems important enough to get the ball rolling where he can investigate stuff. So the scene moves from there. Wyatt, it goes to Wyatt and Steffi, and they're still going back and forth about his mom not coming to work. She really needs him, this, that, and the other. He's still trying to comfort her in some form or fashion to the fact that he's gonna help out. And she's going off the wagon somehow. She can't find Quinn. Ivy's gone. She don't have Ivy, and it's just like all the people that were once on this jury staff is no longer there. And of course, Wyatt was a big part of that as well. And she's including him as being a part of the dysfunction and the downsizing of their little jury section with people supposedly being in place to handle that. And she's just upset, totally upset. So then that scene goes from that to Holly and Wyatt. Holly is saying she needs pieces from Quinn, which is the same dilemma Steffi was having, and he's talking to her about it. And he's trying to gather the information of what exactly was she needing that his mother was supposed to provide. And he's taking it all in, storing it in his memory banks, and he's assuring her that just go on with something else until he can get a hold of those pieces, and he's definitely gonna get a hold of them. Don't worry. And like again, he's reassuring her, same thing he did to his fiancee Steffi. So she takes his word as bond, and she just feels he's gonna come through for her, so she leaves. They go into another scene. We're back at Charlie and Wyatt. Charlie runs into Wyatt. He is saying he needs to see him. He finds him in Steffi's office because I guess he's running everywhere just trying to find somebody. But since it is his mother that he saw on tape, and he actually saw Quinn getting into Liam's car with Liam, he just felt, okay, maybe he would know something to put the pieces together because he's not quite understanding the footage himself. So we leave that scene. We go to Ridge and the mystery doctor, who is not a mystery anymore. Ridge he's fully aware of the person and where he knows the person from. It is actually his doctor that performed the vasectomy on him. The vasectomy that is irreversible. And he's, telling Ridge all of this evidence, and Ridge is combative and saying, being defensive, and he's basically like, no, 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 no. Basically, we need to don't really worry about it. I have a second opinion. We made this miracle happen, da da da. But the doctor that performed the initial surgery on him to do the vasectomy, he's like, no, it's nowhere in the world. There's no modern medicine or technique out there that could have reversed the particular procedure that I did on you. That procedure was, finito. You could not have any more children. The sperm count was 0. This is not an immaculate conception we're talking about that could have healed your, penis area to where it grew back your testicles or whatever they had to snip off to, have him not be able to have children anymore. So, basically, Ridge is starting to see him as a threat. So, the scene moves on back to Thomas and Caroline at the house, and he's basically telling Caroline, because the baby Douglas is in his little bassinet sleeping, and he peeped that out before he would probably try to say, "Can I hold him again?" or whatnot. But he was basically telling Caroline that he's found a newfound love for his father, and he knows that his father wants the best for him as well as for his family. And it's nice to see him adapt such a newfound um, attitude, healthy attitude. And I mean, he's thinking the world of his father now, and he just don't know. All his reservations that he had previous of his father has pretty much been a factor that has kept them apart for so long. But this little medium that he's going down, saying that basically his father has changed. He's got a new leaf on life after having baby Douglas, and he really likes it. He's not being deceiving. He's not a malicious person, a vengeful person anymore, mean spirited. And, Caroline's taking all this stuff in, and she's like, "Ooh, if you knew." And she's, have this look on her face like she wants to tell him, like, "Stop it. Your father's not what you're saying. He's still the same person. He's still vindictive. He's still conceited. He's still just a nasty person. I can't even believe that I'm still with him." And maybe she's holding out that he possibly could go back to how he once was. But that's too so far in here, it's not going to work pretty much. He's pretty much sealed his fate, and he likes hiding and being deceptive to get his way. So I don't know how Thomas is going to view her as keeping such a horrendous secret from him, and especially as big as that one. Her keeping the secret of his son being so, a few feet away from him, and he don't even know it's his son. I mean, how cruel can a person be, and don't have no empathy to that situation? So like, we leave that situation or that clip, and we move to Eric Forrester and Quinn. Quinn has found Eric in his office, and she's pretty much telling him she cannot be in town anymore. She has to leave, immediately, effective today. She was saying she hopes it's a way that she can salvage the relationship or the partnership they have with her still designing jewelry for the company and their apparel. However, it just comes at a blow to Eric that she wants to make such a immediate decision and really not giving him anything to go on. Because she's not saying that she's ill. She has to go take care of somebody out of town that's ill. She's just being very erratic. And her behavior is just so off the wire, or so off the channel, in a way of speaking. She's not thinking or talking in a sane person's demeanor. So, he's asking, anything wrong, this, that, and that. And she's like, "No, I just need to change. If I can't have a leave of absence or time off, then I guess I'm going to have to quit. But I really don't want to quit." And, he's like, "Well, maybe we can salvage some things. But yes, definitely, if you have to go, and be gone for a little period of time, then, so go ahead, take care of yourself, do whatever it needs to be done. If we can help you in any way, reach out to us." Being a very nice boss, and showing so much loyalty and respect to another colleague or designer on his team. So she's like, "Okay, good." So she pretty much goes back to her office and start getting things packed up for what I guess she wants to take with her to try to do some work and still get paid and still honor her contract that she has under them, at least for now anyway. The scene goes from there to Charlie and Liam. No, I'm sorry, Charlie and Wyatt. he gets Wyatt back into his little hut or closet room where it's like a video surveillance type area. I would call it his office. So he's rewinding the footage and he's letting Wyatt see all of the filming that's being tapered or channeled where Quinn is involved in the footage as well as Liam. She sees, no, she sees Liam. Okay, she sees Liam laying on the ground. He sees, well, he sees Liam putting something in his trunk of his car, having a dispute verbally with Quinn, Wyatt's mother. And then as he's trying to pass her and go around the car to, I guess, the driver's door, he passes out. Then it shows that Quinn is helping him or dragging him or picking him up off the concrete, putting him in the car and driving away in his car. And then he's saying, okay, look, I don't understand why your mother, had did what she did. We don't know what happened, and she knows she has to fill out an incident report. And he's going through all of these formalities of what should have happened, and instead of dealing with the present and what they were going to do. And basically, he was telling Charlie, look, my mom is really not fitting in at this point in time with the organization. She's having a hard time coming back from a previous incident, and if we could just table this conversation, I'll talk with her, see what really went on after the fact. She leaving the parking lot with Liam. Is he okay? Da, da, da. I'm sure everything's fine, but don't tell anything or don't tell anyone about the situation. I'll handle it. Da, 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 da. So I don't think it's really capped and screwed on tight. That's just my feeling. I'm going with it. I really believe he's going to let a couple of days pass or whatever, and then he may tell Pam about it. And, once you tell Pam, she's going straight to Eric and anybody else you can gather up, round up, and they're going to try to find Liam because she really does like Liam, and she wants Liam to be with the best person possible. So we know that ain't gonna hold water real long. So we go back to Thomas and Caroline, and he's still giving his father all the high praises of turning over a new leaf, and he's becoming the father again that he once knew when he was little, and all this old crap. And Caroline is being very innocent in her facial looks and expressions back to him, but you can tell she's not comfortable with having that conversation with him when she knows the absolute truth of the matter. And it's totally different from what Thomas is expressing about his father. Lo and behold, Ridge walks in. No, I'm sorry, Ridge doesn't walk in. He gives his final, well, that clip with Thomas and Caroline ends, and then it takes us back to the restaurant where Ridge is kind of trying to end the conversation with the physician that gave him the vasectomy. He basically told the man in a threatening tone and a stern posture that, look, you know what you think you know, but I have told you how this deal is going down. If you try to impose your ideas or opinions on anybody else, da 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 da, you will regret it. Through the body language and the verbalness conversation that he was having. Even though it was kind of short, we knew what he was talking about. But it doesn't seem to me that that's going to hold any water. Like I said on yesterday's episode of reviewing, I really feel that this doctor has, done something, and that probably made his practice fall apart or whatever, or maybe he had to close his practice. Who knows? I think he's trying to bleed. He wants to gain financially from the information that he knows for a fact about Ridge's vasectomy and him not being able to father any child whatsoever because he doesn't have any sperm to be able to do that. So that scene moves back to Charlie and Wyatt. Um, he's just basically still trying to convince Charlie to not do anything with the information that he has come across. Let him handle it, this, that, and the other. We go back to the scene of Eric Forrest and Quinn. She's basically gotten permission from him through all the begging and, insistence that she needs to leave the company. She basically tell him that she's leaving town, so it's not something that she'll be doing, laundering around or trying to get any other business contacts there in LA. She's actually leaving probably she wants to leave the country. So who knows? So, pretty much he gives her the okay. She goes back to her office because that's where Wyatt ends up finding her when he's looking for her because he's in the building. He has just, think he's silenced Charlie with the idea that he's going to take care of it. But like I said, it's not going to happen. He's going to open his mouth. It goes to Liam. Liam is like thinking back, like he's trying to have some memories because he keeps looking at Steffi's picture with the little veil over her face and the short little miniskirt dress she had with the boots. And he's kind of not thinking that it is Eve, which is Quinn, is somebody else. But, like I said, the memory's coming back. The juices are flowing. So hopefully he'll understand who he is before Quinn comes there trying to pull him out. And, it just be another whole misunderstanding. But he's looking at the wedding photos and, it's just like he's still having this memory block, but something is trying to penetrate it to where he'll have some clarification, some clarity of who he is and who that woman really is in his photos. Then it goes to Steffi is in her office and she's doing a little reflecting on being with Liam and the whole wedding scene and stuff of that, being out in the nature part, to a point where it gets her out of the office and she goes strolling on the beach. But then we go to Quinn and Wyatt.
You've got mail.
Wyatt has found his dear mother in her office and she's packing up like she done won a lottery or something, and she has to get all the items that are like heartfelt to her, gathering them up real quick so she can get the heck out of Dodge. But I guess from looking at the pieces she was putting in her little box, it may have been work that she's still going to try to work on and probably ship the items back to them. Just don't really mess up her contract with them as far as being one of their vendors, providing them jewelry for their apparel until she can, like, I don't know, find another resource of money, because she definitely needs to be working for her to be able to take care of Liam and her, because she can't afford to have him out in the public because everybody gonna be like knowing him as Liam Spencer instead of Adam, whoever, Okay, so we're, Wyatt finds his mom rushing in her office, gathering up stuff. And, he's like, Mom, where you going? And, she's like, I'm not going anywhere, da-da-da. And he said, okay, Mom, where's Liam? And then she gets all defensive. She gets to like fumbling with stuff, and she gets antsy. She's having anxiety because she wasn't expecting him to basically be asking her any questions concerning Liam. That was Steffi's job, not his. And he's telling her, look, Mom, I've seen the video. And she's like, what video? We not, her mind's clicking now, going a mile a minute. And then evidently she's come to the conclusion that she forgot about the cameras being in the parking lot. and someone has seen it. But she's like, okay, she done had Liam for X amount of months, and okay, it must not be that bad, or they wouldn't call the police. It would have been on APB out. It had been on social media. It been out on the news and all this. So she knows she may still have a little time to get where she needs to go, which is out of town. Pick him up and get out of town. But he's like, if you need to tell me something, this is a great time to tell me, because I know you drove away with Liam in the car off, the Forest Creations parking lot. And she said, yeah, he wanted me to drive him. Um, well, I went to drive him to the hospital and this, that, and the other. He said no, he didn't want to go. He wanted me to get out his car, and he didn't want to go to the hospital. He just wanted to be away from everybody. And he pulled over, put her to the side, and that's all she know. He just drove off in the sunset, and and you could tell Wyatt was not buying it. But then, how Quinn normally does, she tries to deflect anything off of her, and she tries to put it on somebody else. So she was like, why are you worrying about this? You and Steffi needs to go on and get married. What are y'all waiting on? This, that, and the other. And, this time is not going to wait for everybody. You're worried about the wrong thing. You need to just go and get married to Steffi, and start having your own life and this, that, that. He was buying all into it and everything. I was like, I can't believe why I really think that the two of them, as much animosity, hate, defiance, what do you call it? Loathing that they have for one another. Could he really be that stupid and that disconnected that Liam would even have Quinn in a car rolling down the road? Huh. And I'm like, you poor boy, you're letting your mother suck you in once again into false reality. You knew what the truth was looking like prior to finding her. When you found her and she was just so indecisive and having all of this shaking and rambling with her words, you knew you had caught her. You knew she had did something wrong. But yet, what you do? You go on and give her that second chance. You try to cover things up with Charlie, giving her a getaway plan, to harp on whether or not she did it or not, but you're going to say she didn't do anything, leave her alone, let's just sweep it under the rug, and he was giving his mother the, what do you call a stern talking to, saying, Liam could be hurt somewhere, after he dropped you off. You don't know because he fell out in the parking lot. So, of course, he's not well, Mom. And she's like, no, no, no. He said he was going to check on himself. And I mean, you really bought that. So that means, you could become an accessory to the fact, after the fact, of Liam's disappearance. And you're right. He could have been, on the side of a road. Somebody could have kidnapped him, tortured him, held him out for ransom. Who knows? But you're feeding into your mother's false fantasies. And, your father, Bill Spencer, was saying, she can't be trusted. She needs to be cut out your life. And she is. She's just like a cancer. She's manifesting through everybody's lives and creating havoc and dysfunction. And, when are you going to learn, Wyatt? When are you going to learn? So, that scene, ends. We go back to Caroline, Thomas, and Ridge. Again, the baby duckling is asleep, still in his bassinet. He's having this, still, I guess, refreshing type conversation with and thought felt with Caroline about everything. And Ridge walks in the door. Of course, Ridge is not happy. It tells all on his face like he's disturbed. He comes in, he sees Thomas. He's asking Thomas why he is not at work. What is he doing in the bedroom? Just really, why are you here? So with Thomas looking at his father's posture, his threatening demeanor and just the tone of his voice, he knew that his father was disturbed about something. It shouldn't have anything to do with him, and he just exits stage left. Like, yeah, you're right. I need to be at work. So he left. So Caroline can kind of sense that something had went wrong, and it had to have taken place at the restaurant. But of course, Ridge comes in with his lying self, trying to smooth over everything, and he's just basically saying, picking up his baby when his baby was fine. And well, it ain't his baby; it's really his grandson, picking them up, reassuring Caroline that, nothing's going to break them up just long as we keep the secret and this, that, and the other. And she's like, you have no problem with me. I ain't planning on telling nobody. I ain't trying to break up what we have. And everybody knows she's a little time bomb herself. Anybody back up in the corner, she'll start, cracking just like eggs in the morning. You fixing for your family or yourself, child, please. So she ain't fooling nobody, but she's pretty much appeasing him because she knows he's worried about something. And as anybody knows, anytime a secret is kept real tight, it's just a matter of time. Somebody's going to be uneasy about something, and then it's just going to whoop, roll on out and let the chips fall where they may. Evidently, Steffi. So we move on from that section, and we get to Steffi. She's walking on the beach, but before that, she had to have called Wyatt and to let him know where she was going to be at. But she's strolling down the beach and reminiscing, having loving thoughts roll through her mind and some insecurities. Because when she was at the office and she was having her reflection, she just looked at her ring that Wyatt had given her, and she just was not happy, not being a fiance, and being thought to be marrying somebody just as special as Liam was. But we all know where her heart is set and where it really lies. But she's reminiscing, and Wyatt comes with his shoes off onto the beach area, and he's just misunderstanding and misreading her body language because she's like, "Oh, you stopped in our favorite place where I had proposed to you at," and she was like, looking in back of her like, "I thought that was me and Liam's place." So that was a hot mess. So it's like she was caught off guard, and she just really had to confirm, um, yeah, that's what I was doing. This is where I stopped because that's basically what I was thinking of. When in reality, we know who she was thinking about, and it had nothing to do with him. And it's more lies and more deception being going on, basically because she don't want to be alone. That's her whole thing. That's the whole thing. Even with her mom, they can't go without a man, and it has to be somebody who has superiority, power, influence, and all the whole thing, before she can even take a gander at them. So, or a second look at them. So she's basically just doing basically what her dad do: lie, cheat, deceive to just get what she wants. She don't care who she hurts. And like I said, Wyatt has always been the rebound guy. I don't know why he can't choose women um, that his brother has had no ties with. But it just always seemed like he's always going after somebody that Liam has already, broke in, or had some type of relationship with, where it was physical. Ooh, excuse me. And so, they get on the beach area. He sits down next to Miss Steffi. And he asks her, like, "Babe, why don't we just go and do this thing? Why don't we get married? We don't have to wait. We don't have to have no wedding. It's just really about us, our love for one another. I don't want to wait any longer." And then he's waiting for her to say something, and she looking all confused. Because she know this is not what she want. I mean, if Lynn was dead, or he had moved on, told her he didn't want her, this, that, and the other, and, she got convinced in her head, hey, she would have been still probably trying to fight for him or whatnot. But at least it would have been a conversation that they both had face to face, one on one. So since she's still not clearly moved on in her mind, because she still have this unresolved nugging, tugging at her heart and her emotions, she will go and say, okay, we'll get married, but then that's the time it'll be an APB out on Liam. He'll be all on the news, this, that, and the other. Then Quinn will be the culprit of pretty much, keeping her away from him and doing all these textings and stuff that he had no recollection of, meaning Liam. And then the whole piece is going to start fitting together. And she's going to put Wyatt in the smack dab in the middle along with his mother. And she's going to think they conspired to kind of keep her and Liam away from each other. And so no, it's not going to be a wedding. So that's pretty much what he's trying to do, is to already get her in a situation where she's definitely his wife. I mean, my deal is, okay, we had the same situation with Hope. Why it didn't work with Hope when y'all jumped off that boat claiming, professing your love for each other, because you thought Liam had abandoned you and all this kind of stuff. When you found out he didn't, and all this other stuff had, tumbled out of truth, you left Wyatt. And Wyatt, this. So I'm like, why are you playing these things over in your mind, and you're going down the same road, and you know how it's going to end? Because you weren't truthful. You didn't say you knew or had knowledge of this type of information. I mean, if anything, you could have told Steffi how you felt about it, but then you could have also told her on the flip side. I just found out today through the security guy. He ran up on some footage. He alerted me that my mom was the last person that saw Liam, and she actually rode with him out of the parking lot with Liam because she was driving his car. And whatever happened there, I'm not clear on. But I talked to her. She said she didn't have anything to do with his disappearance. When she left him, he was riding on into the sunset. And then let her, excuse me, let her do with what she wants with that information. But at least you would have been out the clear. But no, you didn't want to do that. You just running just like your mama. She wants to basically, leave. Hell, go to the state of Colorado. And if you go to Colorado, take him back into that scenery, he really might start remembering that, no, you're not my wife. I know who my wife is, and I know who you are. And, kidnapping charges, this, that, and that. I mean, he's going to throw every book at you that he possibly can. But, she doesn't say anything. She's really taken back by the proposal of him wanting to marry her on the spot right now, da-da-da. But like I said, he's just basically doing that just to secure his emotions and to put her in a situation where she's married to him and she's obligated. So, I mean, if you want that type of love and relationship of obligation, then I don't know what to say for you, because that's not the kind of love that I would want or you should want for yourself when you're talking about being married to someone for the rest of your life. So then we go back to Charlie and Wyatt. So I must have really speeded that up, but it's pretty much the same as what I was telling you. He goes back to Charlie and tell him, look, under no certain terms or circumstances are you to divulge any of the information that you told me about the footage that you let me see. I'm going to take care of the situation. Don't worry anybody else in the company about it. He, pretty much, like I said, Charlie gonna go tell the next person because he can't hold water, and he feel like Wyatt had did him wrong before. I don't know if y'all were looking at the stories way back when, but it was when Wyatt pretty much came into the fold of Forrester Creation, and he was he was messing with Hope at the time, and it was something dealing with this Hope diamond, and to make a publicity stunt to get more people attention on that particular diamond and to drive up sales for the replica one they were having being developed of that diamond. So some, so the audience that follows the Forrester Creations products, they can have like a replica of that real diamond, which was called the Hope Diamond, and it was very beautiful. Oh, very beautiful, and had this bluish little mysterious type blue that you could possibly find maybe like in an ocean, with the sunset hitting it on, at the right time of the day. And he just wanted to have a large media following on that particular diamond, which would have driven up sales and everything, for Forrester Creation. And they were in that little mess up where, what do you call it, Wyatt was seemingly stealing the diamond, or he had put it in, what do you call it, Patreon, coming in, wanting to buy apparel or something, or they were just looking at the diamond because it was on display at this particular clothing store. And Wyatt had slipped it into one of the consumers' backpacks, and then I think that they were trying to leave the store, and they didn't know that someone or Wyatt had slipped the diamond, the real diamond, no, the fake diamond, because Wyatt had switched it. So what people thought they were looking at wasn't the actual diamond, because Wyatt had the real diamond, but he put the replica in the person's backpack. So when they walked out the door, it beeped it, and then so-called Charlie called himself, what you call it? He called himself being the what do you call it? Arresting the perpetrator for stealing the diamond, or it seemed that way, only because they had a record for committing a similar offense, but it was like way, way, way back in the day. But you know, Wyatt had came up with this idea, and he didn't tell anybody, and it didn't really hurt anybody, but in a sense it did, because you had messed with some innocent folks, trying to get them another criminal record, which something they actually didn't do this time. So it's just a whole big mess. So it was more like I said that to say this, it seemed like they're going back into that same false, kind of false allegations that he's including himself in, and has, everything to do with Wyatt not telling the whole truth of the matter, what's going on. And, it's putting Charlie back in that same predicament where he's having to have to put his professionalism on the line, and it's being tarnished on something Wyatt is asking him not to give the correct information on, because everybody's looking for Liam, that love him and care for him, and Quinn has definitely done her job to keep him hidden away. But see, Wyatt knows that his mother, he knows her previous bad behavior of covering up stuff and endangering people, and even though she did it for him, she kind of selfishly did it for herself as well, because Wyatt doesn't know they had relations with one another, and she's gotten off her meds. Or she ain't on none, she should be on them, and she's really done lost touch with reality. So she's a danger to anybody that's going to try to stop her and Liam from having, a relationship, which, under the circumstances, you really don't have a relationship. This poor boy don't even know who he is, and you don't gave him a whole nother identity and thinking you're going to get away with it. But like I said, it's a hot mess. Wyatt done got himself tied into it, and Stephanie's not gonna forgive him for it. And if they don't, her and Liam don't get together, it's still one of those issues where, okay, I told you so. He ain't no good, meaning Wyatt can't be trusted, trying to take over Liam's life again and career at Spencer's publication, just as Bill had predicted. So, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, which is Quinn being the mother, and that's all of her deceptive type ways and practices. And even though Wyatt tries to pull himself away and not walk in the same footsteps as her, he inevitably does the same crappy stuff. So, we move on from there. We go back to Carolina Ridge. and he was just specifying to, or trying to explain to Caroline, he just don't really want Thomas around the baby. He doesn't feel comfortable. It just puts him at edge. He wants to have limited, I guess what he's going to do is try to kick Thomas out the house. He's going to say, you're a man of, you're an older man now. You need to be having your own place. I'm sure that's going to come up just for him to not get so close to that baby and start asking questions, that he's having to have to explain. And then this newfound doctor that did his vasectomy is in town. Of course he's freaking out, because he don't know if he's talked to the physician as sternly as he can, and he's going to forget about it and leave him alone, or it's a possibility that he would show up at his house next time, and this time he might give the information to Thomas, and of course that would definitely be a bombshell to be dropped, because it would go off like popcorn, I'm telling you. So then we move back to Liam. He's still having his flashbacks. He's thinking about Stephanie. Okay, and then again we go back to, so it's really like a repeat of stuff. Or I did a repeat for y'all. I took y'all basically all through the Charlie and Wyatt situation. He's still basically trying to keep his mother from being exposed. Ridge and Caroline, they're still trying to keep that secret. She's still trying to be on board with him, but it's going to unravel. And Liam and Stephanie are having some like a moment together within their minds. They're both reminiscing on the love that they once shared, and being married in Colorado, and them trying to I guess put away feelings that they don't know. Well, for Liam, he don't know if they're true feelings or not, because he can't remember anything. And for Stephanie to put away her feelings for Liam, because she may not see him again, and she don't need to be wasting time and efforts, especially if she's not putting an APB out on him, or missing person type of preparation to try to find out where he is. So she's trying to put away feelings for him, because like I said, she don't want to be left alone. So she has to do something to make sure she's not left alone. So if she's burying one, meaning in her mind, because he don't want to be bothered with this, that, and the other, she could still have something just as nice, which is the brother of still the heir of Spencer Publications, and thus far she's still in luxury, she's still in power, and she still looks good. So it is what it is. It was a pretty good episode, I can say. Looking forward to Monday, seeing what's going to pop off. I hope it stays on Quinn and Liam, because they really need to bring that on home, meaning that we need to find some resolution with that issue. I don't care about Liam being, well, I care about him being found, because he needs to be found so we can move on to some other pressing issues, which is Ridge, tying loose ends up on him, so Thomas can get to know his child, and that farce can just stop. And then we need to end the issue, or come to some kind of resolution with Nicole and Zende, and her having that baby, and Maya and Rick having their own child, and going from there. So that was The Bold and the Beautiful for February, March, Friday, the 24th, I believe it was. No, 25th episode. March 25th, which happens on Friday at 1:30, and it was Bold and the Beautiful. Hope you enjoyed the review. Hope you have a nice Easter, and we'll see you next week, God willing, on Monday. Bye-bye. Take care. Oh, and don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and tell lots of friends about my channel. Okay? And have them subscribe as well. Bye-bye.